Hi guys, it's Brett. Welcome. We're back here in Munich's inner city today. We're going to be checking out the Altstadt, the old town. We're going to be starting from one of three gates still standing here in the city that kind of demarcate where the Altstadt actually begins. So this place here is, well, the locals would call it Stachus, even though on the signs it's going to say Karlsplatz. But we're going to be taking you around, and you're going to be checking out kind of the best places to really see here in the city today. So yeah, let's go. Walking down from the gate there for probably about 2-3 minutes roughly. Probably the first major kind of structure you're going to see is this one right behind me called St. Michael's Church. This is actually my personal favorite church here in the city of Munich. They essentially did the consecration on this thing in 1597. That was a year when this sort of more Protestant Catholic divide was really starting to develop in Munich, and the Duke, who at the time really wanted to showcase how Catholic Munich was. If you've read pretty much anything about Bavaria, you've most likely heard about King Ludwig II, the Mad King, as he's usually called. And of course his fairy tale castle is a pretty exclusive sort of thing that a lot of people like to do when they're coming to Munich and Bavaria specifically. But if you want to actually check out his grave in the modern day and just check out the crypts of a lot of other Bavarian rulers as well too, you can come into this church as well too during their opening hours each day of the week, and kind of just, they'll have signs kind of plastered all over the place that you can check out and usually see if you can try and fit it into your schedule, if you want to see. It's only a few euros to go inside. After you check out Ludwig II's grave, and if you just kind of keep an eye on your left, you'll see a little alley that you can kind of turn down. Not too little, it's pretty big in general, but if you kind of keep going, you're going to see the second largest halled church in the world right here, and these two little kind of towers sticking out. This is the Frauenkirche, the Church of Our Lady, essentially. And this is the largest brick church that you can actually find north of the Alps as well, too. So pretty impressive in its scale. If you do go inside, there's a few different things you can kind of check out as well, too. One, if you stand in the middle, there's a bit of a story about the devil making a deal with the architect here to complete it within his lifetime. And there's an actual footprint in the back of the church that they call the devil's footprint. Of course, it's not the devil's actual footprint, but you can go in and look at that, which is pretty sort of cool to see. And if you stand at kind of in the right angle in the church as well too, it technically looks like it's a windowless church, apart from this very large altar that used to stand in the back, but really large, really awesome to see as well too. Pretty incredible reconstruction effort on the thing as well too, but luckily finished that in 1992 and really restored it back to its former glory. We started from the Frauenkirche and we just keep walking down maybe like 200 meters essentially, and before you know it, you're gonna end up here at Marienplatz, which is literally the heart and soul of Munich right here. The city center, as you can see, plenty of people out today when the sun comes out. There's gonna be plenty of people wandering around here, taking selfies with this really large structure right here called the New Town Hall. Of course, it doesn't look super new. That's because it was, well, finished in 1874 and specifically made to have this very sort of neo-Gothic style as well too. So that's why it does have this sort of much older look and feel to it as well too. But this is really kind of the centerpiece of the city, and you can go about anywhere from here within the Altstadt in about 10 minutes walk in general. We're at the fish fountain now. This is pretty much the local meeting point for a lot of people. So usually people come here if they're trying to meet up with somebody that they do or do not know. So if you're looking for the local farmers market here in the city, Viktualienmarkt is definitely where it's at, just really close to Marienplatz there actually. About 140 stalls around here. They got everything, amazing fresh produce, cheese, wines, breads, awesome cafes, more traditional goods. You got seafood, awesome sausages and stuff here of course, but they got some more non-traditional goods, lots of sort of like ice cream shops that are awesome too. Really nice little sabava, sort of a falafel place as well too. Really just anything you could kind of want to snack on, you can definitely find in this area. They also got a beer garden, of course, as well, too. If you run around the city, kind of seeing a lot of little fountains around here, they'll be spitting out some water. If you want to grab yourself like a bottle and just fill it up, it's totally all right to do. Just the telltale sign is usually this little Trinkwasser plaque you'll kind of see listed on the front out here. So So this is the most famous beer hall in the world, and if you like beer, and if you like loud music, and you like meeting a bunch of random people you'll never see again, this is the best place in the city for it, all right? A little bit overpriced, service is not wonderful, not as local in many regards as well too, but still a really fun place. It's always open 365 days a year, which is like a godsend for pretty much anywhere in Munich, so you can spend Christmas here, it's totally all right. So now we're at Max-Joseph-Platz, as it's named, just called after that guy's Prince-elect name actually, would have been Prince-elect Max-Joseph. He's also the founder of Oktoberfest, the greatest festival ever. But this plaza is just kind of a cool little area. Right in front, or behind him is this really large structure called the National Theater. It's not the theater for the nation of Germany. It's the Bavarian State Theater, but you know, Bavaria is like the center of the universe, so of course it's always going to be called the National Theater as well too. This is where the headquarters of the Bavarian State Opera, Orchestra, and Ballet have been functioning out of since about 1818. So we're inside of the Residenz now. Well, one of the actual little places inside of the Residenz. This is the entrance right behind that I'm staring at right now. But essentially, this just kind of is this tiny little castle here actually in the 13th century in the woods really, but it was kind of expanded over time. From about 1550 onward, every single Bavarian ruler that lived here added something onto it, renovated some portion of it, or just made it just a little bit bigger or a little bit more fancy in some ways. So instead of the modern day, this place is just an enormous quarter, really. This is also a really cool historical museum. A lot of stuff to see inside. This is the largest city palace in all of Germany as well too. So right around the corner from old Max-Joseph-Platz, you just keep walking down this street right here, and this is going to lead you down into where the northernmost gate of Munich's inner city actually used to be standing, a place called Odeonsplatz, all right? You're going to walk past a bunch of lions on the way here. If you actually rub the faces outside of those lines, it's also supposed to bring you wealth too. So if you want to just get a little bit of wealth, you know, go give them a rub, it's fine. If you walk down the rest of the street, you'll still be walking next to the Residenz actually. You'll notice the exterior is a little bit different. That's because they painted it on actually after the war to make it look like its original sort of building. They couldn't afford the actual bricks, it was just too expensive. But yeah, it's gonna lead you out into Odeonsplatz here, as I mentioned, where the former northern gate of the Altstadt used to be. This big structure here is called the Field Marshal's Hall, and this is kind of known for being, it was built for the kind of as a memorial to the sophisticated history of the Bavarian military, okay? And then apart from that, there's also this really bright church over here that sticks out like a very sore thumb called the Kirche. This church here is kind of the 17th century premier structure here in Munich, kind of for showcasing this Baroque architectural style. The actual paint on there is a mistake. It should not be that actually bright. They mixed it wrong when they repainted it after reconstruction. All right guys, that's gonna wrap it up for us today. So we are in the Hofgarten now, the royal garden of the actual Residenz here. And this is kind of where we're gonna say goodbye to you today. If you need to kind of check out where we've all been today, there's gonna be a link down below in the description to kind of point out all the places we've already been throughout the day. So if you do wanna kind of check out any of these, and hopefully you use some of these tips to kind of see a bit of what we've already seen today and kind of can see it and experience it really for yourself. But otherwise, hope you have a nice time while you're here in Munich, and see you in the beer gardens.